this week's edition of the Dream Job Show. I hope you can hear me all right, and I want to say a really big thank you as well to everybody who came last week and to everybody who's watched the replay since then. I hope it's been really useful for you. And before we start as well, I want to say some really big congratulations. It's been a great week this week if you, or the last couple of weeks, if your name has begun with an S, because I can tell you that Sophie and Simon and goodness me, there you go, brain freeze. 4 of my clients and family and friends have got their dream jobs in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and most of them begin with an S. Oh, that's really helpful. Facebook is telling me to put on a mask. That's not really helpful when you're trying to do a serious show on Facebook Live. Hey ho. Yeah, so real huge congratulations to everybody that got their dream job. Hi Karen, how are you? So this week I've got my notes here in front of me because last week I was looking up there, and I had some feedback that it looked a bit strange that I was looking up there, like I was looking away. So I'm not going to be doing that this week. I'm going to be looking down here though to make sure that I don't miss anything for you. And what we're going to talk about this evening is we're going to have a theme of clarity. We want to make sure that we're doing our best to get really clear about what the next move is, whether you're looking to change jobs or to get promoted, or maybe to switch career completely, or maybe to start your own business, whatever that might be. It's really important that you get clear, and people often say to me, well look, I just don't know what it is that I really want to do. I have no idea what my dream job really is. So we're going to be talking about how to get clear, a couple of different ways that you can have a think about that. I'm also going to be sharing with you my job of the week, and actually it's jobs of the week. I'm going to give you a tool of the week, which is very topical as well. And as promised, I'm going to give you one of my very favourite questions to ask at interview. That's not for a recruiter, by the way, that's for you if you're going to an interview. You know, the interviewers always say, so do you have any questions for me? Well, this one is going to knock their socks off, and we're going to just have a look at why that might be. Then I've got a tip of the week as well, and hopefully when you go away there's going to be something for all of you, whether you're, as I say, looking for a new job or whether you're starting a new business, because it's just really exciting to do all of those things. Okay, I'm just going to move myself across here a little bit because I can tell that I'm not in the middle of the frame, and we'll get going. So, my theme of clarity. I've written a blog post today, and you can find the links to that on the Facebook page and on Twitter and LinkedIn and everywhere else, or you can go to my website, louisejournette.com. The blog post is all about clarity, and it's all about how I got clear, because there were 2 separate occasions in my life when I was absolutely clueless. I had no idea what I was going to do with the next stage. Good evening, Rachel, and good evening, Wayne. Oh, really great to see you guys here tonight. So 2 different times. The first time was when I first left school. I eventually got 3 A-levels, having retaken my French. That hasn't come in very handy with me over the years, but anyway, not to worry. But I'd left school and I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And the second time, of course, was when, having got my dream job with the lovely DFS, I had kind of just fallen out of love with it a little bit after 17 years and decided that I wanted to do something different with the rest of my life. So, but I still didn't know what it was. So the blog post goes into it a little bit more detail from way back in the day when I was fresh-faced 19-year-old. But I'm just going to share with you a couple of things that I reflected on when I got myself out of working full time, and actually gave myself the space, the headspace really, to think about what it was I wanted to do next. And you can try this too, because they're 2 really simple questions. So you can ask yourself, what is it, what's the one thing that I really loved about, or really love about the job that I am doing now? Because even if it's horrid, even if you're desperate to get out, there will be something there, won't there? A little inkling of something. And what's the thing that frustrates me the most? That's what I did back in 2013. I reflected, and any of my DFS colleagues will tell you that the very best thing about working there is the ability to sit on sofas and call it work. So I loved sitting on sofas talking to people, whether they were customers, but especially if they were my sales team or any other member of my team that I was coaching for success within our branch. So I loved that bit. I loved the sitting on sofas, having a cup of coffee and a good old chat to really get to the bottom of whatever it was that was going on. And my biggest frustration, without a doubt, was recruitment. It was trying to hire the right people to join our teams, because potentially good people must have applied, and of course when we recognised them as potentially good, we hired them. But there were some that you just, looking back, you just think, well, maybe they would have been, but because they didn't come across well enough at interview, just couldn't take the gamble, couldn't take the chance with the company's money on hiring and training and developing that person. And then of course that's not even including, is it, the ones who didn't apply effectively enough. So their CV, their covering letter, their application form was just not done effectively enough so that we could even invite them to interview. Because from an employer's point of view, interviewing is a really, really expensive and time-consuming exercise. So I thought, right, okay, I love sitting on sofas talking to people, and I'm really frustrated about the fact that lots of people who are really probably very good aren't actually selling themselves at interview well enough. I thought perhaps what I can do is turn bad cop, good cop, and come round the coffee table and teach people, help people to be able to sell themselves a bit better. So that's how the Dream Job Coach was born, and that's how, from that reflection, that's how I got clear on what I wanted to do. I'm not saying it's going to be that easy for everybody. I know that you don't all have lots of time. You're not going to take the summer off and reflect like I did, and sometimes it can be really tough to get that kind of clarity. But just have a think about those two things and see how you get on. I'd be really interested to hear what you come up with. Okay, moving on. Job of the week. So I did a little Google search, and guess what I came up with? Can't believe it. There are hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of Brexit jobs still vacant. It says here that 1/3 of the over 1,000 jobs created for British civil servants to negotiate Brexit have not been filled, and it's just days before the UK begins formal negotiations to leave the EU. So this was reported by the Telegraph on Friday. So if you think that you might be able to help the UK to leave the EU, I don't normally talk politics on this show, but there are about 300 posts going. Don't know what they're all going to do, but that could be interesting to find out. Tool of the week. This one I want to share with you. If you're looking to career change, then maybe one of the things that you need to consider will be your finances and your budgeting. And there are some great people out there that can help you with that. And I'll give a little name check to my lovely friend Fanny, the financial freedom fighter, because that's exactly what she does. She helps you to get in charge of your money and make friends with your finances. But I also came across a new piece of, new to me anyway, piece of accounting software this week, which I've downloaded. It's free and it's really easy to use, and it's called Wave. So yeah, let's give it a wave. Hey Wave. It's really good. I'm really over the moon with it. So if you're starting a new business, if you're a freelancer, or if you just really need to get your own business accounts in order, then Wave could be a really, really top tool for you this week. Okay, and then I promised you, didn't I, that I was going to share with you one of my favourite questions that you can ask an interviewer when you're there at interview, and they say, you've gone through the whole process, and probably towards the end, they say to you, so do you have any questions for us? And from experience, the questions that candidates often ask are a bit, should we say, a bit bland, a bit boring, and we want to spice that up a bit because we want them to remember you. So I'm sharing it with you this evening. So it goes like this. Looking forward 6 months, for me to be really successful in this role and for you to be really happy you hired me, what would I need to have achieved? I'll say it again in case anybody's scribbling. Looking forward 6 months, for me to be really successful in this role and for you to be really happy you hired me, what would I need to have achieved? So it's a bit of a mouthful and you might want to practice it a few times before you actually get to the interview, but it's a great interview question. And why is it so great? Well, they will answer, yeah, they might be a little taken aback and they might have to think about it. That's not a bad thing. But they will answer and they're going to tell you exactly what you need to do to be brilliant when you get the job, which is fantastic. So right from the get-go, you know exactly what you need to do to be brilliant. But there's something else. As they're describing it, as they're thinking about their answer to your question, not only are they thinking about what it takes to be successful in this role, they're actually picturing you being successful in this role. And that's really powerful. At the end of their day's interviewing, maybe they've seen 8 people, maybe more, maybe less, but let's say they've seen 8 people. I will bet you a tenner, because it depends how many people watch this video, of course. But I will bet you that the only person that they have imagined, pictured, being successful in the role 6 months down the line will be you. And it's a lot to take in for interviewers, you know. You have to, you know, sometimes we even used to ask, you know, what's the one thing that you can tell me that will make me remember you at the end of the day, because I've got a lot of people to see. And people would waffle on about all kinds of stuff. But when you've asked them that question, you've shown your enthusiasm, you've shown that you're keen to do a good job, you've lots of benefits to asking this question. But the crucial thing is, they have had to imagine you, they've had to picture you being super successful in that role 6 months down the line. So you are bound to stand out from the crowd at the end of the day. So I'll say it again, because it's important that you get the wording right. Looking forward 6 months, for me to be really successful in this role and for you to be really happy you hired me, what would I need to have achieved? There you go. Simple as that. Okay, and then I promised you as well that I was going to ask you or give you a tip of the week. And my tip of the week this week is called 3 Good Things. Because when you're busy in a job search, and especially if you're running a job already and you're looking after the family and doing all the hundreds of things that you have to do, it can be a bit disheartening. And maybe you've sent some CVs off, or you've applied for some jobs and you've had some rejection letters, and you know, it all gets a bit tiring. So one thing that you can do that will really, really help to lift your mood, to help you have a good night's sleep and to help you wake up happy in the morning, is to keep a little gratitude journal. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, you don't have to write reams of stuff. But just before you go to sleep, take a fresh page and think back over your day and write down 3 good things that happened. This idea originated with a Facebook page called 3 Good Things. You can look it up. And the people who run that are from New Zealand. And I came across it when I was in the middle of my decision-making process to leave my career and to do something else. And it really, really helped me. In fact, I think I even was there earlier than that. I think I was there when I had my back injury back in 2012. Because when you're in pain, everything feels a bit like hard work and you forget to really think about the good stuff that's happened. So, I mean, really tiny things like, you know, you had a great cup of coffee, you saw some daffodils, the sun shone, you know, it doesn't have to be massive. But when you write down, you think about 3 good things, you write them down, and you do that just before you go to bed, then it means that you go to sleep thinking of those 3 good things, and hopefully you'll wake up in a good mood too, because that's the way you went to sleep. So that's my tip of the week. I hope that's helpful. Please try it out and let me know how you get on. Please visit my website for more tips and information. It's louisejenner.com. You can find tips on for interviews, tips for your job search. You can get a free download of my ebook, which is called Your Dream Job, How to Find It and Get Hired to Do It. And of course you can contact me and book in a career clarity session, which is also free. It's a 1 hour session with me, either face to face here in Gloucester or online. And I offer that for free because I know how difficult it is to get some headspace for yourself when you're feeling unhappy in your work. So whatever it is you want to discuss, whatever it is you want to talk through or ask me, you can do that by clicking a link over at louisejenner.com. So now I just want to say thank you so much for watching this evening. It's been my absolute pleasure to be here with you again. I will be here again next Monday at 7 o'clock for the Dream Job Show. Thank you very much and have a lovely evening. Bye for now.